What's going on, and welcome into your casual gaming and news conversation for this week. I'm Nick, that's Connor, and this is your weekly gaming and news podcast from Co-op64. Connor, how are you feeling today?
Doing good. Been grinding out the Game Club game this week on Switch. Playing the Switch is really weird. That thing is huge in comparison to the Vita. It's wild to go from one to the other. Playing 1000x resist, which I think is how you say that. It could be
1000 times resist. I've also heard.
Okay, yeah, all right. And yeah, it's a very interesting game.
Yeah,
it's not like something I don't even know what to compare it to, honestly.
Would you recommend it to me?
No.
Okay,
I don't think you would like it, but you might. It's very deliberate. It's kind of slow, but like in a good way. Like it's setting up a lot of pieces for you to be interested in and trying to like connect all of those puzzle pieces together and figure out like kind of where the whole picture is and where we're going. I think is really interesting. The voice acting is great. I like the art design. The music is excellent. I'm on chapter 6 of 10, and we just got to a point, and I'm like, okay, I think I know where we're going. Now I have no idea where we're going.
Love that.
I'm like,
Love
okay,
that.
well, we're going a different direction, which is cool. I like that. So yeah, it's been fun. If you want to join in to the game club, join the Discord, add the game club role. We choose a game every single month. We all play it together. And then we have like a monthly discussion. This is my first time being able to actually participate, which is exciting. So yeah, I mean, you might like it. Who knows? Yeah. So maybe give it a try. It's like 11 hours though. It's not like something that I can be like, okay, like spend 3 hours, and if you don't like it, like who really cares? It's like it's a bit of an investment. So, but how are you?
I'm doing all right. Speaking of Switch, I just picked up Brady's Switch to go and play Tears of the Kingdom over this weekend. I'm wearing my Zelda shirt because for the first time in a year and about 3 months, I'm playing this game. And it's pretty amazing. Still fucking electric. Still one of the greatest games I've ever played. Yeah, I sat down for like 20 minutes just to remember where I was so I could go and look up things online to make sure that I only had a couple hours left. I think that I'm going to go and for those who don't know, I'm flying out tomorrow to Miami. This is why we're shooting this on Thursday. We will, if there's any news on Friday in the gaming industry, we'll discuss it on the next episode. Just a heads up there. We're posting this as soon as we can. I have stream immediately after this. So it's going to go up later tonight. But my plan is to go to Miami. And originally it was like, I'm going to go and play this game on the plane a little bit. Here's the thing. It's a 6 a.m. flight. I know myself well enough to know that's not happening. I'm catching some Z's. I am in the aisle seat though, which not the ideal way to catch some Z's on an airplane, but hopefully it's a smaller flight. Hopefully there's some room for me to spread out, get wide. Are you you can't sleep on planes, right?
No.
Yeah, but
if I can get the whole row to myself and I can lay my head down, that's a game changer. I can sleep then. I just can't sleep sitting up. That's the big issue. It has nothing to do with like being in the air or being afraid of flights. It's just I need to be horizontal. For
me, when it came to our childhood, it was adapt to survive when it came to me sleeping straight up, because you and our sister in the car where we're sitting 3 across on like a family road trip, I'd be in the middle and I just had to go and figure it out to be able to fall asleep. But yeah, no, I'm probably going to fall asleep on this plane tomorrow. But my plan is, you know who's a pretty big Zelda fan? Matt, my good buddy Matt, who I'm vacationing with. So I think that there's a chance that I'm going to bring it down still. Him and I can sit down for a couple hours if there's other happenings, and maybe we close it out together. Maybe we finish this grand journey together, and I sob down there or something. I've heard a lot of people cry at the end of this game. Just an emotional experience. I don't know if it's a emotional ending, but just the experience is very emotional for a lot of people.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, so excited to play that. Just excited for the weekend. Connor, it's WrestleMania weekend. There's a lot of hype in the air right now. I'm really sad because I'm missing my boy Saturday night, Seth freaking Rollins, go up against the Tribal Chief and CM Punk and Paul Heyman in CM Punk's corner. Did you see the TikTok I sent to you?
Yes.
It's good stuff, man.
I want to say this about WrestleMania as a complete novice, totally not tuned into any of this. I know this is like John Cena's year. This is his last WrestleMania, yes?
Yes.
Cody Rhodes won last year, yes?
Yes.
What was the whole tagline for?
Finish the story.
Finish the story. That story and that lead up, way better than whatever's going on right now. I get bits and pieces every once in a while, and I'm like, this is John Cena's last WrestleMania. We're not like freaking out about it. There isn't this like big lead up like there was with this.
People are freaking out about it. Whenever he shows up, it's the whole heel thing. The hard part with this is there's still people that are rooting for John Cena, even though he turned heel. People still want him to win, which the whole purpose was like to convince some people to not. I'm one of those people where if John Cena was not heel, I would have been rooting for John Cena.
He's going to turn back from heel, whatever that's called or whatever, right?
But how are we sure about that? Here's the thing.
I mean, yes. No shot. They let him go out on being a heel.
My thought process is he turned heel. The Rock convinced him to turn heel. And I'm one of the few people that thinks he loses this Sunday. The John Cena loses. And he turns around to The Rock and he says, fuck you, Rock. I can't believe that. Hey, I did this for you. And we get this year at something like SummerSlam, we get Rock Cena. I feel like not enough people are talking about that, that being on the stage. A lot of people are bringing up Randy and CM Punk for Cena's last match. I'm thinking there's nothing bigger than Rock Cena. There's no card that they can play that's bigger than Rock Cena for this time around. So
bring back the Undertaker one more time.
There's a good chance we see Undertaker at this Mania. He's got to show up. But no, I mean, it's impossible for it to be better than 40's lead up. Like what they had set for 40 for just a general card in general outside of the Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes stuff was just so fucking epic. But you also have Roman Reigns, The Rock, Seth Rollins, and Cody Rhodes all in the ring night one together. Like, that was epic in and of itself. And then night two getting the Avengers Endgame portal moment with wrestling. It was just awesome. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Me and Brady are going to be seated on Sunday. I will not be drinking during WrestleMania because I have to stream for the next 5 days after Sunday night of WrestleMania. But we're going to have a great time watching that. And I just love wrestling. It's a great time. Connor, you want to know what else that I love? Housekeeping. Yeah. We do have a Patreon where you can get this show 3 days early. You can get the Casual Gaming Conversation 3 days early, and you can get a bonus episode of the Casual Gaming Conversation every single week. If that is not enough content for you, at the $10 tier, you can go and get amazing shows like Recollecting Retro, the Co-op 64 podcast, and exclusive TikToks. Where the fun part of this is these exclusive TikToks are we're throwing out some ones that we haven't even done on the main page yet, and I've had a good time shooting some of those with you. They've been a lot of fun over there. So if you want to see legitimately exclusive TikToks, new ideas going up, there's a couple over there over on Patreon. And then if you want to support us at that highest tier, you get your name read at the end of every single podcast, and you get the opportunity to go and submit a topic for the chance for us to read it during the Co-op 64 podcast, which the Co-op 64 podcast that's coming out this week, the fan submitted topic was LeBron James.
Of course.
Ridiculous. But you can go and submit topics like LeBron James over at that tier. Twitch streams. We are sort of doing only one thing for the next 2 weeks when it comes to streaming. We are playing all of Persona 5. Oh, I should probably say I am playing all of Persona 5. Connor and Brady will only be joining every now and then during this journey. Starting up Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern. When this podcast goes live on free feeds, I will be beginning my Persona 5 journey, where I'll be playing Persona from Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern, April 21st, all week long, taking a break that Friday so we can shoot shows like this and have a weekend of content where we also need to shoot Recollecting and the podcast and a bunch of other stuff. And then we're going to boot right back up on April 28th at 9 a.m. and go for another 5 straight days. This is the marathon stream to end all streams. This was to thank you all for getting me to the position to go full time. So once again, thank you for that. It's been an amazing journey, and this is going to be a ton of fun. So if you're a fan of Persona, you got to be there. If you kind of like the idea of hopping into Persona, you got to be there. And even if you hate Persona, you got to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun over on Twitch for the next 2 weeks. And like I said, we're going to be live the entire time. So even if you are somebody that watches us from the UK or Australia or just around the world, we're going to be live. I'm going to be playing Persona during every hour of the day, night, or I'll be sleeping on stream or cooking on stream or doing a bunch of random stuff. We got a lot of fun things planned. Am I going to be doing yoga day 2 of this? That's the plan. Is Brady going to come over to cook some food with us and do a little cooking stream potentially? That's the plan. Going to be a lot of fun. You're going to want to stay tuned in for that stream. Discord. Join the Discord. We have an amazing community over there of over 2,500 members. You can join Game Club. You can join the sports thread for things like WrestleMania. It's always popping off with wrestling stuff during these pay-per-view events. And then there's obviously general chat and gaming chat where you can just yap it up about your general thoughts or gaming thoughts with us in this amazing community. P.O. Box. We have a P.O. Box. It is in the link tree down below in the description. If you want to go and send us something to that P.O. Box, you click on the link tree. It's the first thing that shows up. That's over there. Merch. We do have new merch. Things are seemingly starting to roll out. That was the last I heard this morning from them was, hey, things should be shipping out now, which is good. Good to hear. So if you want amazing merch, whether it's the Co-op 64 logo merch or the college design, go and check that out over at coop64store.com. Review us over on Apple Podcasts. It gets the show out to more people. Say something nice. We love reading those. And there's also people that go and read them and favorite them. Have you noticed this? You can go and like a comment, which is pretty cool. And then comment section, if we get something wrong during this episode of Casual Gaming News Conversation, let us know in the comments down below, and we will go on the next episode and set the record straight. I did not see anything on the previous episode's comments that we got wrong. But once again, if we get anything wrong and it is not opinion-based, we outright mess something up, and you know that you are right and we are wrong, please let us know in the comments down below, or just say something nice. I'll have a fun word for you to say at the end of the episode so we can get more engagement and have some fun down there.
You said that last episode of Casual Gaming Conversation. We forgot to give them something to say in the comments.
Connor. That's what we call you. You throw out the line and you're just reeling them in, baby. They're like, we got to get to this word, and then it never comes. Yeah. Sometimes, was it because I forgot?
Yes.
Maybe. Maybe. Was it because I just wanted you to watch the entire episode? Possibly. Thank Connor. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Story number 1. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered screens and details have leaked. This is Jordan Miller at VGC. Quote, screenshots and details of the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered have appeared online. The images, which include screenshots comparing the original game to the remastered, as well as the promotional art for the game, are circulating on social media after a leak from a Virtuous website. First found on Reset Era, the images show off comparison images from the original game and the newer remastered. According to the website, the game will be titled The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered and is being developed in collaboration with Bethesda. Bethesda Dallas and Bethesda Rockville are working on the game alongside Virtuous. Oblivion Remastered will release for PC, Xbox Series X and S, included on Game Pass, and PlayStation 5, according to the site. End quote. Connor, this is the most confirmation we've gotten with this entire game thus far. What are your thoughts? Are we getting it supposedly next week from Jeff Grubb? What are your thoughts with this?
It's called remastered. It looks great. Just call it a remake. I feel like calling it a remake is like a bigger buzzword. If that makes it seem like a bigger deal, that it's a whole new thing. And if you're gonna overhaul the combat, I've seen a list of all the tweaks they're making. It's like.
We've reported that on the show or discussed those reports.
Just call it a remake. I think it's weird to call it remaster. It's underselling it. I think those images look great. I want to get off this roller coaster, please. Let's just stop doing this. I think it's weird at this point that Virtuous and Xbox and Bethesda haven't just said it. You can't do a shadow drop if everybody already knows it's coming.
Are we getting an Xbox showcase next week is where I'll throw there. Are we getting a partner direct next week?
How far ahead do they usually announce those?
Like a couple days.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's possible. I think that, I guess it's likely. We just haven't heard any other swirlings about that.
Yeah. So there's been no leaks or rumors on a partner. I feel like there's one thing. I feel like somebody did throw out, hey, we might get this during a partner thing. But I feel at this point that it's going to be just shadow dropped. I feel like when there's smoke, there's fire. This is obviously a forest fire ablaze when it comes to this rumor at this point. I completely agree. Why are we calling this remastered? I don't understand it. Mm. I do have a question for you, Connor. And I've talked to our chat, and I have people that agree with me wholeheartedly. I'm getting the points no matter what if this comes out this year in our Fantasy Critic League.
Oh, do you have it?
I have it. But here's the thing. Remastered, remake, the terminology's wrong. Potentially. Here's the thing.
No.
I've talked to multiple people in other leagues, and everyone said no matter what, you should get those points. If you had the gumption, the gall to pick it up, you deserve those points. And here's the thing. If it was not on my team,
what do you mean the gumption, the gall? This was all but confirmed at the beginning of the year.
No, it was not confirmed at all.
Dude, like we said, if there's smoke, there's fire. It was very clear that this was happening.
Yeah, we all thought that it was going to happen. But if we knew, if this had a release date, this would have been in the first 2 rounds of picks.
You think so?
Yes.
If it was called remastered, it wouldn't be eligible.
It wouldn't be eligible, but I drafted remake thinking that this was a real thing, and I'm getting those points. That's all I'm saying.
Here's the problem, though. You just agreed that it would not be eligible because it's remastered.
At the start of the year. No, at the start of the year, if it said remastered.
Start of the year, middle of the year, what does it matter? It is what it is.
You gotta go and get the points, Connor.
No.
All I'm saying is if you're in a Fantasy Critic League, get those points. And make sure your commissioner goes and gives you those points. You deserve those points. And in this situation, I deserve those points.
We'll put it to a poll in the league.
It is interesting, yes. Here's the biggest issue with it. It's on my team. Because if it was not on my team, I would very much be banging the drum that the person deserves those points.
No,
I would.
shut 100%. I don't believe 100%.
you. I was talking to Master Diz, who was watching a Twitch stream, and he had it on his team. He's like, "Hey, do you think I should get those points?" And I was like, "Yes, 100%. You should get those points." And then I was like, "Oh shit, I have that." I'm like, "Yes, I should also get those points." You got to make sure you get those points. But no, getting back on the story, I was trying to hold off the whole point on this at the start of this because I've been thinking about those points for a while now. This Fantasy Critic League is tightening up, but like why? Like you said, though, why the hell are you calling this remastered? And now we're getting in a nefarious situation of what's the difference between remastered, remake, if there is any change to the combat, any change, which the reports are that there will be, this should be called remake.
I think that the issue here, and I'm curious if this has anything to do with it, is that the rumors are that this is Unreal Engine slapped on top of the Creation Engine.
Yeah.
So they're not really changing that. Like, it's still Oblivion at its core. And but they're tweaking things like a little bit to make it more modernized or better or whatever they're going to say. And that might be why, but I don't know. I think it, like I said earlier, I think it's just a better marketing tool to just say it's a full on remake. And it looks like it too.
There's no reason not to, because we're already in a wishy-washy situation when it comes to the terminology of it, where you get something like a Metroid Prime remastered, and that game just is Metroid Prime, but it looks more beautiful. But then again, like that game also plays brilliantly on the Switch and everything. So I feel like you could use the word remake for that situation.
That word, I think that for that game, you could use it for like something like Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion. That game looks ridiculous.
Yeah, that game is a remake to me, 100%.
Yeah, but they consider a remaster, I think.
I don't think that their word remastered or remake is on the box. Is the thing there. This is a little bit of a non sequitur. I did last night while I was going and picking up the Switch from Brady's, listen to this massive video that's been going and swirling around about FF7 rebirth theories and everything, and it was Max Dude reacting to it. I fucking love this game. Total non sequitur. That was like that hour just flew by, and I forgot how much that can impact me. Going back to Elder Scrolls, though, I kind of hope that this does it just get shadow dropped at this point. If it is a remaster, though, I understand them going and pulling back a little bit and staying away from the word remake. If it is truly just like you said, them just up-resing the way that this looks in Unreal Engine 5 and good to go. Some people have compared it to Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, where it is like, hey, the game doesn't necessarily like play exponentially better. It's not this full-on thing, but the game just looks gorgeous. I can understand a little bit more a shadow drop at that point, but in my opinion, you should probably surround that with some other stuff too then.
Oblivion is a huge deal, though. Like, Oblivion is a lot of people's favorite game of all time. Like, I hear that thrown around a lot. I don't think I heard that with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black.
That's true.
Also a shadow drop or whatever. Where it's like, I understand that the quality of Ninja Gaiden 2 is high, but like Oblivion's like on another level of popularity that you would think that they would want this to be a bigger deal, and just on a random, what is the 21st? Tuesday? Monday?
Yeah, it's a Monday. It's the week of the 21st. The rumor is week of the 21st. That's a Jeff Grubb line, and then people have taken that from and been like, it's happening on the 21st.
Yeah. On a random Tuesday, just being like, oh, it's here. It's like, is that going to have the same sort of pop as if it was at like an Xbox showcase? I guess with social media and just kind of like the internet age we're in, maybe it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but I think for Xbox, it doesn't make any sense for them not to link this heavily to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To their console, to be like, this is a big deal. Xbox showcase, shadow drop, Oblivion, get you some points in the win column for the brand.
I think that the big issue and the reason they're not doing that goes back to something that I said on the previous podcast about the Xbox showcase being announced and it being the Outer Worlds 2 Direct and all that. I think they're getting a different shadow drop during that. You can't do two shadow drops.
I don't know what you're talking about. But
I think that during the showcase, we either get something like Hollow Knight shadow dropped. I think that there's a chance that we get Double Fine's next game shadow dropped. I think that there's a chance that a large chance we get Gears of War Collection shadow dropped that day. Something that goes and elevates the Xbox brand in a way that is even more clear. You don't want two things at once. You want those two separate marketing beats. If you are having something there, shadow drop. And then the big one would be Hollow Knight. If Hollow Knight were to shadow drop, who gives a shit about Oblivion Remake at that point? And I don't mean any disrespect to Oblivion. I just think that the fans, honestly, of Oblivion might be a little bit more chill because we got these Hollow Knight fans like screaming with pans and spoons banging getting as loud as humanly possible about this game. Like, I do think that would make sense if this were to just shadow drop, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. There's no reason to not either hold it or make an event out of it or tease it or just generally properly market this game.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you go and say, hey, let's say it gets on April 22nd, it's a tweet. It's coming out in May. It's coming out in June. That just doesn't make sense to me.
I think your theory is I hope you're right on that they don't want to double up on shadow drops. That would be a great reason for them to be doing this. I just am being a little bit more pessimistic and being like, maybe it's just like not good.
Well, that's
and
the other part.
Just crapping it out.
I think that Remastered does go and lean some level of validity to this not being a banger.
Yeah.
And if it's not a banger, I could understand it. Maybe I should get those points because it's going to be a 60 on Metacritic. Let's go and lock that in. You're giving me those points. But we go and play this, and it's not like this unbelievable experience. It can kind of make sense. Hey, this is just something for the fans to go and hold you off for a little bit, and you go and enjoy this while we get Elder Scrolls 6 cooking. Then yeah,
I mean, that's all it really needs to be. Is it needs to be visually impressive and like feel a little bit better, and that's about it. I think that's what most people are looking for here. My fear is that like it might be like buggy or something, or like broken, and that could be the issue, and that's why they're just kind of getting out there.
How buggy and broken is Oblivion? Because obviously you hear with Bethesda games all the time how they come out buggy and there's major issues. Is that one of those titles?
I would imagine there's some wonky aspects to it, but I couldn't tell you. I've never played Oblivion.
Well, and then the last question is, in the lead up of all of this, has it started to do anything for you?
It's always done something for me. I mean, this would be my opportunity to play it.
But would this be the thing? Would you boot this one up?
100%. This has always been the plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like I've been on board for this and am definitely interested in it. And it's ruining the Skyrim playthrough or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna drop that and go play Oblivion, I guess. And I'll get back to Skyrim. But I've heard great things about Oblivion. Everyone says it's the best one. So
I'm excited for it. And the best part for you is your schedule's going to clear up a lot when it comes to streams, because I'm doing these Persona streams. So you got your nights available a little bit.
Oh, that's true.
Which is going to be super nice. And yeah, honestly, if it did drop, I would love for you to hop on this one. I do think that there's a chance that we start up this Persona stream and then a day in, 2 days in, all of a sudden Oblivion's out there.
Yeah.
And that's the hotness, which once again, like, the conversation around this will always be very interesting to me. It just doesn't make sense marketing wise.
Yeah.
And until someone can sit down and explain it, other than that, the only theory I have is the shadow drop theory, that there's going to be another one, and that's the only reason why.
But I'm excited about it. I want to just be positive about this just for like a second, because like I feel like we're talking about like semantic issues or whatever, and it's just like, this sounds awesome. This sounds like something I want in my life.
It looks awesome too.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people in our Discord are really excited about Oblivion and have history playing in the past and are banging the drum on this and just need it in their lives. So I can't wait to have it in my life.
I'm gonna hop this story in now. It was story number 3. I'm gonna put it to number 2 because it does deal a little bit with the Oblivion remake. Headline: Fallout 3 Remastered still exists, but we won't see it for a while, it's claimed. This is Sam Seapool over at Insider Gaming. Quote, an insider has claimed that Fallout 3 Remastered won't be coming out anytime soon. However, it is in the plans. As spotted by The Gamer, Nate the Hate 2 was asked recently on X whether Fallout 3 Remastered was still in the works. Nate replied stating that, quote, it'll be a while before we see it, end quote, but didn't deny its existence. Another user asked whether it is still happening, to which Nate replied stating it is, quote, planned, but won't be for a while, end quote. Rumors about the Fallout 3 remastered title have been going around since we heard about the Oblivion Remastered. However, the latter just got a lot more real when screenshots of the rumored title surfaced online. The screenshots provided side-by-side comparisons with the original title and even revealed information about the platforms and deluxe editions. Both games were leaked during the FTC vs. Microsoft trial, so many are now interested in the existence of a Fallout 3 Remastered 2. End quote. Connor, this has to be real because it wouldn't make sense if it didn't exist. There's too much money to be had. Am I wild with that one? It has to be real, right?
I doubt it.
Really?
I don't think this is happening. I mean, like the way he's talking about it there, he's like, it's planned. It's very far out. Like this definitely could happen. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen. I'm just saying that like if it's still in like some sort of planning state or it's planned like nebulously, like they would like to get to it, or internally they're like, this is our roadmap. Roadmaps change like all the time. And we'll see how this Oblivion remake does. And if it is super popular and people love it, they'll be like, yeah, let's do Fallout 3. But like, I think a lot hinges on that, and just we'll see where the future of Xbox is. I'm not putting any stock in getting excited about Fallout 3 remake until we know a little bit more. There's more rumblings about it. It's further into development. Like games get canceled all the time. This isn't even in development. It just seems like an idea that they have. So we'll see. I don't have a ton of experience with Fallout 3. I've played New Vegas and 4. Went back to 3. I was like, not really feeling this right now. And I do think a fresh coat of paint would be cool. Tighten up the gunplay. I think that my biggest problem with New Vegas is that I like the story, but I don't like VATS very much. I like shooting things, and 4 has competent, fine shooting. So if you go back and give Fallout 3 4's gunplay or better, that would be great. Sounds good to me.
I mean, I think that the reason I want to bring this in now was depending on how Oblivion Remastered goes and works and does and Game Pass numbers, sales, all that good stuff. I think that the next step would be, all right, this one sold gangbusters. Let's go and bring back another one of the Bethesda IP's favorites. And also, it feels like we're not going to have a proper Fallout game for a very, very long time with them working on Elder Scrolls 6. The Fallout show is immensely popular. I could see them wanting some synergy there, and I do think that there's a level where there are beyond talks of this happening. There's always, since probably Fallout 4, there's been talks of, hey, when are we going to remaster 3? That's an easy way to make a buck. Why not? But seeing Oblivion Remastered, I could see the success of that being the driving force of why we get a Fallout 3 Remastered.
And I do wonder like what this even looks like, just kind of slapping UE5 on top of things, and how much work that even is. I imagine it's got to be some work as a total novice here. Like,
well, going back to story number 1, there's Bethesda Dallas and Bethesda Rockville working alongside Virtuous with all this. There's 3
Virtuous is the studio.
Yes, Virtuous is making
and
it for
they are
sure.
making Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Yeah, and that
so like clearly they're not spending all their time on one title.
True, but I also could see them going in, outsourcing some work and bringing in some other people and programmers to go and try to help out with this. But it is interesting to be like how much work actually goes into something like this.
And the reason I say that is because like if it's not that much and it's like, oh, just throw UE5 and touch everything up and kind of make sure everything. I'm talking totally out my ass here.
Yeah.
I understand, not a game dev, but like if the process is simpler than obviously doing like a full-on ground-up remake, then I could see these popping off left and right. And if Oblivion does great, they're gonna be like, oh fuck it, we'll do it with 3 as well. Like you said, I wouldn't be shocked if this happens. I'm just saying based off of this reporting that like
it's not a guarantee.
It's not a thing yet. You know what I mean? It doesn't, or at least it doesn't sound like a thing.
For sure. Story number 3, Marathon's director explains why it isn't free to play. Quote, everyone has their own definition of what's the right price. End quote. This is Jordan Miller over at VGC. Quote, over the weekend, Bungie debuted the first gameplay from the game, as well as release date and closed alpha plans. Bungie also confirmed that the game will be a, quote, premium product, end quote, though the studio has yet to confirm the price. Now speaking on the Friends Per Second podcast, director Joe Ziegler has explained why Bungie's Marathon won't launch as a free-to-play title. Quote, we're hoping that what we're showing is exciting enough that someone is going to take the leap with us. But We are also committed to delivering on seasons past this that will continuously offer to evolve the game without an increase to the box price, Ziegler said. What we're hoping everyone understands about the game is that we're focused on committing to making this game a game that's really awesome. And we think that that starting point is really strong at this current time. Everyone has their own definition of what is the right price. End quote. This is an interesting one. We were not here, so for the reaction to Marathon, we have not yet talked about the Marathon gameplay on this show. We did talk about it on Casual Gaming. Looks great. We're both in on it. Like, we think that this game does look cool.
In is a loose term. I'm interested.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Borderlands 4 Marathon come out on the same day. What are you playing? What's the first one you're booting up?
Well, Marathon's not as much of a commitment, I feel like. If Marathon was free to play, I would do that. If it's $40 versus $60 and I have to choose one, probably Marathon. But if I'm being perfectly honest, based off of what I want to play, generally speaking, I'm not playing either of them.
Okay.
At that cost.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be very interesting. I was just curious. I will 100% be playing Marathon day one over Borderlands. And it's not close.
Yeah.
Like, for what I want, it is really funny that both of these games have... I know that they're not the same. One's an extraction shooter, one has a story campaign and everything, but they're very looty gun games and upgrading and going out and doing that whole thing. Them coming out on the same day, I think that a lot of players are going to have that decision of, hey, which one am I going to go and mess around with? And Borderlands 4 has this massive IP alongside it that I think a lot of people are going to go down the Borderlands 4 route. But for me, Marathon and what that is, like you said, it's such a less commitment compared to something like Borderlands that is this longer narrative. I was just curious to see where you stood at this point. Hopping into the actual story at this point, everyone has their own definition of what the right price is. I want to take the Marathon out of this just for a moment. Do you think that that sentence holds weight? That everyone has their price and every game should have their price? Or do you think that we're at the point that really, not just Marathon, if you're trying to get in this live service market, you just need to be free to play?
I think that's where we're at. I mean, I personally, when it comes to my preference on monetization for video games, I want to pay a flat fee and then play the video game. And that's it. I don't want to be... have microtransactions put in front of me constantly and have them find ways to extract more money out of the player, even if it's optional. Like, I don't prefer that. I would rather just like pay the flat price. So when it comes to Marathon, though, and what I think of, like, when it comes to the $40 price point, I'm not a huge extraction shooter guy. I've never really tried one, so I am interested in this game, but that does seem like a steep cost for me to like be like, let me just give it a go. It's really going to depend on the alpha and the beta, which I assume obviously free, for me to be like, okay, I'm in. I need to play this game for me to understand if I even would be willing to put any money down. But when it comes to the broader industry and what people are looking for in multiplayer spaces, they're looking to play games with their friends, and the way you do that is you have to be free to play, especially for something that's not like a proven quantity like Marathon. Like, I know we had previous Marathon games in the 90s, but having it come out in 2025 and go up against Apex, where it's like, okay, you have two friends, you can either go play this for free and try to convince your friends to play it with you, having no experience, but the entry fees is zero. So it's like, what's the harm in just trying this? Whereas Marathon, it's like, okay, let's spend $40. And there's those memes that go around of like trying to convince my friends to pick up a game that we're going to play for 2 weeks or whatever and never touch again. It's like, I could see that happening with Marathon left and right. And people are kind of getting savvy to that fact that a lot of these games just don't end up grabbing them for a very long time, that an investment of $40, like, is just such a roadblock for a lot of people. And I totally understand that me personally, if I was looking at this and was like, I'm going to get into this, let me grab my friends and see if they're into it. And we play it for a few weeks and then one of us drops off and it's like, okay, well now there's two of us. And it's like, what are we going to do now? It's like, now I have to get another person. And all it takes is one domino to fall there for you to be like, okay, we're just not playing this game anymore.
Yeah.
And when you invest $40 and it's like, man, that's something you have to think about more so than with free to play. And I just do not know if the name of Bungie and it being a Sony first party title is going to be enough to push this game over the edge.
We know Sony first party title doesn't mean anything to push it over the edge after Concord.
Yeah.
I do think that will Bungie push it over the edge. That is a area I want to go in a moment. We've disagreed on this for a long time. I'm more and more coming around to your point. And I even said after the Concord debacle, I was like, wave the white flag. If you are a multiplayer shooter, like a 5v5 arena shooter, that is so dominated already by your Valorant and by your CS and by a bunch of free-to-play things that you have to be free to play. This game, we'll get here in a moment, is obviously not that, and I want to discuss that in a second.
It's important to know it is PvP though. Yeah. That's a different category than something like Helldivers, where it's also $40.
I do want to hop into Helldivers because this is not being discussed nearly enough, in my opinion, just across the entire industry. Everyone goes and Monday morning quarterbacks Concord's release, as it should be. It is arguably the biggest failure maybe in the industry in the past 10 years, if not ever. Helldivers came out 4 months before and was $40. And somehow, some way, became a phenomenon at this major fucking game, this well beyond Arrowhead's wildest dreams. They got fucking servers crashing left and right. They're like, we're trying our best to keep up with the demand. And it worked. Like somehow they pulled it off. And if I'm at Sony, I can easily understand there being a group of people saying, hey, we just had Concord happen. We cannot charge. We got to go free to play for everything. But I also do understand there's probably a group at Sony saying, Helldivers worked. So it should be a $40 price tag for any of our live service attempts. And especially when the narrative for a very, very, very long time has been, fuck loot boxes, fuck battle passes, I just want to play a game. And those are complaints that I've had often.
I don't think people actually believe in that, though. The thing is, like, I think that we complain about it, but then we also complain about $70, in this instance, $40 games. So it's like, I don't know which one we actually want as a gaming community.
Well, often the answer is you pick up the game. I feel at times really bad when it comes to free-to-play games because I don't spend a lot of money in free-to-play games most often. Fortnite is a game that I've played hundreds of hours in, and I've only spent like $50. Mm-hmm. And it's like...
You don't need to feel bad about it.
I understand. They're making a lot of money. But like monetization-wise, like there's so many... If Helldivers was free-to-play, I would spend zero money in Helldivers.
Yeah.
Like they would not, and that's kind of wild because I had 25 hours of extreme amount of fun with you, Brady, other friends, community members, all that good stuff. And so and there's players like me, or by giving that $40 price tag, you did get money, you know. But going back to Marathon, there isn't a free-to-play extraction shooter out there that is dominating the scene. So this is a new kid in town. They have an opportunity to do this. And somebody brought this up, and it really was fascinating to actually think through. What if Marathon, and this is total hypothetical, but what if Marathon just becomes the next big thing? Because there's no extraction shooter out there right now that actually is doing what it needs to do to be the forever extraction shooter on console.
Yeah.
And so like there is a chance. They're rolling the dice with not competing in the way that it is direct competition, battle royale, 5v5 shooter. They're just competing for people's time at that point, which is every game that ever comes out is that direct competition of, hey, no, I want to play Fortnite for 4 hours tonight, or I'm going to spend $40 to pick up Marathon. Well, it's the same as $50 to pick up Astrobot, or $70 to pick up Rebirth, or Tekken, or whatever. I do think that there's a case to be made that, like, if I'm CEO of Sony, I actually would kind of be okay with being like, hey, re-roll the dice on this one. Fair games, different scenario. Fair games, not going to work out. Fair games, somehow, some way is not canceled right now by the grace of God, which honestly, great. I like that this team is passionate and they're hopefully going to be able to see through this vision. But like, they don't have the Bungie IP alongside them. You don't have the faith that they're going to be able to dominate the market in the way that a Bungie game could. I think that Marathon, there's that hope. And then also, the nice part of going into this one, compared to a Concord, and even compared to a Helldivers, you know that the gunplay is going to be some of the best in the industry. That's what you get when a big reason why Call of Duty's come out and people are, no matter what, going to pick them up is they're like, this is the war simulator that I want because it's so fucking good. I do think that Marathon carries a similar way of like, it's Bungie. The gunplay is going to be top notch. And then the question is, can they convince players of different multiplayer genres and also just gamers in general that extraction shooting on consoles is fun and worthwhile? Because there's a group that believes that on PC.
The problem is you are in a situation where you need to convince people. It's not Destiny, which is very easily like marketable, where it's like you're gonna play with your friends, you're gonna shoot aliens, you're gonna get better guns, it's gonna be fun. That is similar to other things that have previously exist, but now we're doing it online in an online space or whatever. It's like, cool, we get what that is, and that's gonna be awesome. And you can play it alone. It's like, yeah, I'll pay money for that. With this, it's like I think most gamers, I'm just talking anecdotally here, don't even know what an extraction shooter is. I've never heard. You go up to the guy who plays Call of Duty and whatever, and then you're like, do you know what Escape from Tarkov is? They're gonna be like, fuck no, I don't even know what that is. And if you're gonna try to be a massive success, which I think that's what Bungie is trying to do, they make big hits. They made Halo, they made Destiny. They're probably looking at Marathon and not being like, let's make a little bit of money. They're like, let's make the next Halo. Like, that's what they want to do. And just like a multiplayer sense, not in a single player sense, of course. But like, and if you want to do that, you need people to be on the sticks and play the game. I'm that audience. Well, I know that for me or whatever. And I'm somebody who knows who Bungie is. I'm somebody who knows what an extraction shooter is. And I still am like, I'm not paying $40. I need to play this game first.
Yeah. Well, I think that this game is going to go a long way with the betas. We've already discussed that multiple times. There needs to be multiple betas. Those betas need to come out and be fucking awesome. It needs to do what Marvel Rivals did to me, which was, I'm not a huge Marvel. I like Marvel, but I'm not like this major Marvel fan. I don't like Overwatch, but I got hands on and I was like, holy shit, this is the most fun I've had this year. And if Marathon's able to do that with a alpha period or a open beta period, I'd be shocked if we get out of PlayStation State of Play June without a date on it.
Other solution here for me, and we talked about this with the Concord, and I think this might have changed the tune on Concord. I probably wouldn't have, but you put it free to play on PlayStation Plus for the first month, and you put it on Xbox, maybe even Xbox Game Pass.
I mean, well, the nice part is this one's coming out on Xbox.
Yeah,
which like I do think you want as many that player pool to be as open as humanly possible. Bungie obviously already had that relationship when they got acquired. It was like, yeah, no, Destiny's staying everywhere, and whatever else we do, most likely will also stay everywhere. But you look at FBC Firebreak, that's everywhere. That is Game Pass. That is on your PlayStation Plus that month. That is going to be, no matter what, a huge conversation between everyone that has those services. Because it is. You always want to play the new hotness, especially when it's tagged on to something like Remedy. But I do think that Remedy very much expects they're okay with the small success. They're okay with like, hey, we're doing something cool and we made our money and we're good there and everyone is still able to go and create the next cool thing. Bungie is taking seemingly more of a swing with this because they just always are a company that swings big.
It's a big deal for Bungie. Like their financials have not been good the last few years.
Yeah.
So this could be make or break for them.
Can we talk about the fact that we're getting another Destiny expansion? I thought the Final Shape was the last one.
Yeah, I'm not tuned in on the Destiny thing as well. I saw that a couple days ago and I was like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense, I guess. Just make a new Destiny, honestly. I think that's what a lot of fans want.
Somebody please, for this episode, get in the comments and let us know what's up with the Destiny situation. Somebody has to watch the show that's a big Destiny fan. I need to know what is up with, like, are we going to get even more expansions after this? I have no idea. I need to know. So please, somebody in the comments, get it in there. Let me know what's up. I do want to just stick here just for a moment longer. What price tag would be extremely worth it to you? Is $20 if they throw it out for there for $20 and they're like $20, but we have things like battle passes in there and we have more stuff, but we do want a $20 to enter fee. Do you think that is like super great, or do you think that even that is like you can't charge anything?
Any barrier to entry here is a problem. Because like I said, you need to convince 2 other people to pick it up, and you put any financial barrier there, people are going to think about it and be like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't want to play something for 2 weeks and have put money into it and then never play it again. I just think that when you have other options that are free, there's just too much other stuff to play that's free.
Yeah, especially when it is those type of gamers that are only playing the free stuff. It is hard to go and pull them away from something that they have hundreds of hours and all their skins and everything that they want there. It's hard to go and say, hey, let's hop on something else. And if it is, I do think that if you can get this thing, it's there's no confirmation on price. It's going to be $40.
Yeah.
I'm very confident on that.
I just think that's a terrible decision.
I think that they're doing a great job with putting it in influencers' hands and letting them go and play it and having them speak to their broader audiences and everything. With that being said, the only way that this comes out and just fucking dominates is if it is like a huge does a huge job of getting everyone hooked up with betas. That's the only way that they're able to swing it, in my opinion. And what they need to do is open beta in June and or late May, whenever that PlayStation State of Play showcase, whatever it is. Hey, play it today.
Yeah,
and have that moment and give people. You're going to carry over your XP into the game, all that stuff. Try to make it as exciting as possible when it comes to the player.
I just keep seeing people say, yeah, I'm not paying $40 for 3 maps and 6 characters, 6 heroes or whatever. And that's not fair for like a extraction shooter. That's like actually like a fair bit of content or whatever, because you're meant to be playing it over and over again. But I already see the narrative spawning for this. Like, it's people are not about paying for this game.
I will say though, we also are. I need to go back to 2023 December, get in the DeLorean, and understand better how Helldivers did this.
Because it's great, and it's easy to pick up, and it's understandable.
What is the easy to pick up part of it?
You can go in with your friends and shoot bugs, and it's fun, and it's easy to understand, and it's not competitive.
That is a good point. But
anybody can play that game. Anybody can.
Not. I don't think the. Basic,
yes.
Okay, maybe.
On the lower difficulties, it's fun to shoot bugs and throw nades into.
That's a good point.
into holes or whatever.
But people didn't. I'm saying that day one happens, and all of a sudden this game just rips. Like, but this, and they're no offense to Arrowhead, phenomenal studio. They're not Bungie when it comes to the name recognition. I'm saying that, like, if Concord didn't exist, how would we be talking about this game? It would be so clear that I would be like, yeah, no, Sony first party when it comes to their free to play and $40, and they pulled it off one time. Of course, we're gonna pull it off again. Like, the narrative would be so different, but obviously that's not the world we live in. But also, like, I fundamentally understand that Concord was honestly in a similar situation to Frostpunk is the shooter game. Fragpunk, yeah. That's what I was looking for. That one is like a similar deal where it's like no one's really hopping into that because you don't have this it's good. I haven't heard that it's excellent. The Finals is a good video game, but it's not capturing myself in a way
those are free.
But those are free to play.
Yeah.
And so it is now like,
how do you expect to compete when you're $40?
But that's the thing. When it came to Concord, those are direct competitors in my opinion. This is not directly competing with anything. It really is competing against itself, and if it can overcome a $40 price tag. That is where I'm at with it. Headline: Xbox boss Phil Spencer reiterates Switch 2 support. Quote, I'm a big believer in Nintendo. End quote. This is Andy Robinson over at BGC. Quote, Switch 2 was fully unveiled earlier this month. Although no Xbox games were present at the unveiling, Xbox is reportedly prepping multiple releases, including Diablo 4, Halo, the Master Chief Collection, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. Activision has also committed to releasing Call of Duty games on Switch 2. Speaking in a new interview with Variety, Spencer reiterates his intention to support Switch 2, stating that he was, quote, a big believer in what Nintendo means for the industry. We've been supported Switch 1. I want to support Switch 2, end quote, he said. Quote, Nintendo has been a great partner. We think it is a unique way for us to reach players who aren't PC players, who aren't players on Xbox. It lets us continue to grow our community of people that care about the franchises that we have, and that's really important for us to make sure we continue to invest in our games. I'm really a big believer in what Nintendo means for the industry, and us continuing to support them. And getting the support from them for our franchises, I think, is an important part of our future. End quote. Connor. Phil believes in Nintendo. Bang, bang. What do you think about this headline? What do you think about this whole story? And do you think that we're going to be seeing these Xbox games popping up over on Switch real soon?
I do think we will see them on Switch. Obviously, he basically just says that here. My curiosity is, where do they talk about this? Do you say this at an Xbox showcase? No. I don't think you talk about Nintendo at your own showcase. Do you put this in a Nintendo Direct? Also, no, I don't think. I think that they do the Forza Horizon thing from here on, where they just tweet it out. And I think that's smart, honestly. I think that Master Chief Collection coming to these consoles is going to do the work itself. The headline will be heard and people will be talking about it, and that's all you need to do. It doesn't need to show up at a showcase. So I am excited for all of these on console, on Switch. I think that the idea of COD on Switch 2, which I know we've known about for a while, is like, that's gonna do really well, I would imagine. And that's like a whole new audience for them. You have to imagine. So yeah, I think this is exciting. I'm glad that Xbox is gonna continue to support it. Bethesda was a huge supporter of Switch 1, so I imagine that will continue as well. Doom: The Dark Ages, we don't know that.
We don't know if it's over there yet. It will come
that's
over.
Coming to Switch 2 for sure. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Stuff like that though, I'm excited to just have available there. So yeah.
Connor, you did not bring up where these games are actually going to show up. It's not going to be a tweet. It's not going to be Xbox. It's not going to be Nintendo. It's going to be Jeff Keighley. These are Keighley-ass announcements.
Yeah,
I need
just a complete third party. That makes
sense.
I
need an emote. I need someone to get in the comments down below for Keighley-ass announcement, because there's a few that happen every single year that I'm like, that's a Keighley thing. Like, that's so Keighley. Like, that's so Raven. Apparently, FPC Firebreak. Well,
yeah.
I think that there's a chance that the next time we see that is that's Keighley-ass announcement. That's Sam Lake. That's him. It could be Xbox, but yeah, sure, why not?
With FBC, you could see that at SGF, and then it comes out that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's supposed to be summer. So.
Do we not have a date on that? We don't yet. Yeah. Come on, dude. Of course. That makes too much sense. Yeah, no, I think that these are Keighley-ass announcements. I think that if you want to close out Summer Game Fest with Master Chief Collection, going to Switch and PlayStation, yeah, Keighley's like, yeah, sign me up. Are you fucking kidding me? That's an unbelievable marketing beat. And you do not want to put that on Xbox's
This
stage.
is just the marketing podcast, I think. We just always talk about is marketing.
I mean, I love talking marketing, but also, I mean, video game showcases are just marketing.
Yeah, just like where's it going to show up is like half of the discussions.
I mean, it's funny. I was talking to a good buddy about wrestling, and it sometimes is very similar, where it's just like, I wonder when they show up and how it's like presented and all these things. Like, it really is just a big show where we're all just part of it, baby. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. But no, I think that it's a Keighley announcement, and I do think that the first domino to fall will be the Master Chief Collection. When it comes to domino. It's a huge domino, but when it comes to like major support and putting a game out there and letting it be this big moment, that's the other thing. Jeff Keighley knows how to dominate the moment, to market his ass off and really swing for the fences when it comes to showcases. Also, Jeff Keighley coming hot off of maybe the greatest showing in any presentation ever with the 10-year anniversary of the Game Awards. What's his encore going to be for SGF? Because last year's SGF was not great. It was pretty rough to sit through at a certain point. There was a lot of games there. Some of those games were cool. But like at the end of the day, there was not any get hype moment. And also, a lot of what we saw was just like stuff we already knew about or different looks or some gameplay. But like Phantom Blade Zero looked awesome. But like Lego Horizon opened the show and it was, hey, it's coming to Switch. That's a little cool detail, but it wasn't this major thing. If you want to get the people jumping, if you want to get the people in the audience going, which I believe it's really funny. I think Keighley's event might be the only type of event that still has an audience to it. if you want to get the people going, you show up with the ultimate badass Master Chief and open or close the showcase with that. My question is a remake or a release on a separate console enough to actually close or open a showcase?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a big deal.
I mean, Indiana Jones closed Gamescom this year.
Yeah, but they showed gameplay before that, or whatever.
That's true.
Some new game.
Yeah, that is true. But I do think that Chief is big enough. It's Master Chief. And then when it comes to these other things, Diablo, Microsoft Flight Simulator, those are tweets. Those are tweets. We can get by with a tweet. If you're going to tweet out Forza Horizon 5, you can tweet out these other titles and just go from there. But I do think that Chief will show up on the grandest stage possible. And I do think that stage is an SGF stage at this point. So I'm looking forward to that. Is there anything else with this one that is interesting to you? No. Last news story. We're just going to pull the headline from this. This is Chris Scullion over at VGC. Mario Kart World Direct shares new info, including new courses, outfits, and items. Connor, you did not watch this, correct?
No.
I did, because I'm a sicko, and I love this game. There's a lot that they showed off today. My question for you to just kick this whole thing off is, where are you at with Mario Kart World right now? Because we're still in pre-order limbo when it comes to the Switch, where there's a lot of question marks of how that's all going to shake out. Has that taken away from your Mario Kart World hype?
No, I mean, I'm excited for the game as much as I was when we saw it the first time, when we saw it the second time, and now I did see like the P block, like little challenge stuff or whatever for the open world stuff. I'm like, great, that's what I'm looking for. Like, I think this game sounds great. So yeah. I can't wait. I as I have said numerous times, I wish it was a single player game first with Donkey Kong and then this. That would have been a perfect run up for me when it comes to a launch lineup. But yeah, I mean, this game looks great. So.
Yeah, for me, this is looking to be an all timer. The way with the way the world works. I will say that the open zone and with the P blocks, how full is this world of challenges and discoveries?
They said hundreds.
They did say hundreds?
In the clip that I saw, I think they gave a number.
Well, so even with that, how fast are these things? Like one of the P blocks that they showed was hop in tightrope to tightrope over this canyon or valley, and you go, and then there's a finish line at the very end. It's like, okay, there's a chance that challenge takes 8 seconds, like 12 seconds. But like, so how many of those sort of moments are there going to be that allows me to go? Yeah, get in the comments on this one. But just in general, like how many moments and what am I getting? What's the loot? Because my biggest fear is they could have capitalized so much better if they Smash Bros it, where you go and you have 12 characters at the start of this game, and then you do a challenge by Moo Moo Meadows, and you unlock Moo Moo, and then you unlock this random thing.
Yeah,
and
I love character unlocks in games, dude.
That would have been so sick. And I feel like there should have been, and I know they wanted to be this whole everyone's here immediately and hop in with your buds and Grand Prix and all this stuff. But can you imagine those first few days of playing if you were going and doing these challenges and unlocking things? The nice part is they're seemingly unlocking different outfits and everything.
Yeah.
But I want more than just my Shy Guy looking fresh. There was a scene where he's got like headphones on, my Shy Guy, he's got headphones on. He's looking real cool. And I'm like, I'm so fucking excited for this game. Game of the year. I mean, we already saw a cow fucking rail grind on a wire. It's already going to be the game of the year. But no, like everything that they showed during this, and I discussed it a little bit more while I was live, it's just like, I'm just hyped. Like battle mode with 24 players? Fuck yeah. Like that's going to be perfect chaos.
I'm not a big battle mode guy. The thing that I'm most excited about is the battle royale. Do they have a name for it?
Knockout Tour.
Knockout Tour. I think that sounds so fun.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
That sounds so replayable to me that I'm just like, all right, I knocked out early. Go again. I'm sweating in the last round. Go like have the most intense race of my fucking life trying to get first place. It's like that sounds awesome. That's exactly what I want.
My biggest fear was before this, people were throwing out 7, 8 cups, and like we're coming off Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with DLC. We're talking 24 Grand Prix at this point, 96 races. Would this ever come out that level of content complete? I was not expecting that, especially with everything else that they're doing in this game. I was not expecting a massive amount of cups. But and when they were saying 7 to 8, I'm like, oh, that's not enough. But when they showed the Grand Prix cups and there were 7, and it looks like an 8th one's unlockable, and then they showed the knockout tour cups and they were different emblems and everything, I was like, that's how they did it. Where we're basically getting 16 pre's, like 16 different curated experiences. And I'm like,
some of them loop and some of them are just straight through.
Knockout tour is straight through. And then pre's, I do think is going to be, you do a race that's looping and then you go to the next race that's looping. That's the other thing with versus mode. They were like, yeah, some of these courses we have them where you're just playing that course and everything in a versus, and you can choose 4 different courses all around the map and everything. And I'm like, fucking sign me up. Like, that's what I want when I'm talking about my Mario Kart experience is, at the end of the day, I'm going to play 10, 20, 30 hours of open world Mario Kart. The reason that I'm going to play this game forever is you, me, Brady, Noah, Mitchell, Laura. We sit on the couch and we fucking play Mario Kart.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's all about. And so I'm really looking forward to this. I'm super stoked. Let's talk some Patreon names. Shout out to all the people that support this show over on patreon.com/GoUp64. You keep the mics and lights on, and we really do appreciate you. People like Apathetic Titan,
JC Falcon,
Frozen Crushes,
Jack CT,
Sconzi,
Cherry Sentry,
DQ Lonzer,
Gamers Glade,
Tyler D,
Scooterman,
Dinkelberg Rules,
Centuro,
Hook'em Horns,
Gonash,
Neutral Sphere,
Charlie W,
Easton C,
Stooby Dooby,
Nuke This Kingdom,
Crispy,
DJ Zach B,
JC,
Uli,
Jacob D,
Big Mac,
Metal Nate,
The Patty Cake,
Bear Pog,
Yogi,
Dom,
Holden M,
Colin C,
Brock,
Voodoo,
Dr. Pookie Bear,
Alex W,
Andrew H,
Master Diz,
Jesse F,
Drifter X1, Skirt,
Presto,
Maverick,
Goops,
JMatt B3,
Ali Benali,
Michael,
and Vorpal Matt. Thank you so much for supporting the show. We will see you in the next one. Peace out.